Hello, and welcome to Twin Study After Dark. I'm your host, Sallie, joined by my co-host, Katie. We're identical twin sisters. We invite you to join us as we investigate our similarities and differences in all things life has to offer. Hello, and welcome to Twin Study After Dark Friday Feedback. I'm your host, Sallie, and it's just me and the cat Enid today. So welcome this Friday to Friday Feedback. You're going to hear a lot from me. And if you don't want that, turn it off now. We are going to get right away and get started. Last Monday, I should say, this week, last Monday, you guys heard Katie and I interview each other playing the game Deep and Deeper. And I just wanted to give all the Friday feedback we got from this week's episode for you guys to enjoy. So the first thing, honestly, was not even to do with the episode, but there is a full moon that's happening on Thursday, the day before this episode drops. So on Thursday, everybody was texting us and saying, okay, moon water, how does it work again? And I swear, like, you could definitely probably Google this, but just a quick refresher for the moon water when it is a full moon. And I know this episode will come out too late, so you can't try it this full moon if you didn't already. But basically, I just told the couple people that were asking, just set it out with an intention. I set it outside. Personally, Adam and I put our moon water out in like see-through jars with lids on them, and then we put them on our back patio porch table and just left it out overnight. The moon did its thing, and then in the morning, like I said, we chugged it. But it depends what your intention is. Some people bathe themselves with it or wash their face with it. It just depends. Mine was a financial intention last time, and I chugged it. I drank it. Adam did as well because we set up a couple jars. But no matter what your intention is, just decide what to do with it the next morning or next day. And yeah, let us know if it works for you. I want to hear all your stories. I'm expecting updates. So I'm definitely doing that for this full moon. But like I said, you're listening now and it's already passed. The next thing somebody commented on our interview is that Katie and I talked about how Katie has been diagnosed with ADHD and I have not been. We are identical twins, and I don't know I've heard a lot of different theories, honestly, over the years from just people online, even doctors, because there's been times in life where one of us thinks that we have something like ADHD and the other one's like, I don't think I have that, but we're identical twins. So we've dealt with things like that our whole life where we're like, surely I have this because we're identical twins. Our genetics are the same. But I don't know. I truly don't know. I'm not diagnosed with ADHD. Honestly, Katie does. She's more forward and active about receiving professional therapy than I am. I've done therapy in my life a couple of times when I've been in times where I really needed it, but I'm more I guess she's more of like the constant therapy goer, so she would be discovering this stuff from like an actual therapist or not even therapist, what is it, a psychologist, who's actually assessing her. And I don't know if I've ever like had that assessment done, to be honest. And I think she's right when we talked about it last episode. If I do have ADHD, I've definitely learned to like manage it. And it doesn't mean like I'm perfect at everything or anything like that. But I think I've learned to manage it to a point where this is how I go about life and I'm comfortable and it's not affecting me. And we've just learned different techniques that work for us. So one of these days, if I ever do get evaluated, I'll let you guys know, because we're confused by it too. In so many ways. I mean, there's been times in our life where one of us is like, do we have depression? Do we have anxiety? I've admitted I do struggle with some anxiety. I think Katie does too. But when it comes to twins just being identical genetically, you wonder how much of that is identical. And I'd love to get twins feedback on that too. If there's twins out there that are like, oh no, like my brother struggled with depression, but I never did. I'm just so interested in how much is nature and how much is nurture. So anyway, when we were talking about ADHD, and I was saying, if I have it, the way I've learned to manage it is I put everything on the calendar for, months in advance. And if there is an appointment or someone coming over or literally anything, it's written on the calendar. And I'm really organized when it comes to that. And I've always been organized. I'm not the best with I don't have a photographic memory or anything, but I don't miss people's birthdays because it is on the calendar. Everything is on the calendar. And somebody commented and said, why do you think I make lists for everything? It takes away my anxiety and my overwhelming feelings if I make a list for everything. And I actually have a couple people in my life that I know make lists for everything. And it's just funny because it's just your way of coping and organizing the day, especially for people who feel like they have a million tabs in their head going at once, which I think is really common in women, honestly. And not just, I'm not a man, so I can't speak to that, but I do think women sometimes feel like they have just a million thoughts in their heads. So I see you and I relate to you if you just feel like you need to put it on paper, to put it somewhere, because otherwise it's going to get overlooked. The next thing that somebody commented on was somebody sent me a TikTok and it was really interesting. I honestly, it was funny. It was about the man versus bear, but in this TikTok video, a wife was asking a husband about their daughter. And she just said, hey, honey, would you rather our daughter be lost in the woods with a bear or a man? And it's funny because some men didn't understand why women were all saying bear, but this video showed the perspective of fathers of daughters. And so anyway, he ended up saying a bear, he's like, yeah, a bear. And then she switched the question up and said, would you rather our daughter be stuck in the woods with a woman or a bear? And he said, woman. And I was like, oh, damn, I didn't even think of that. My answer would be the same. So I tried it out on Adam, my husband, because he's a father of 3 daughters. And I said, hey, babe, same question. Would you rather Susie, our oldest daughter, be lost in the woods with a man or a bear? And he was like, he's like, sadly, yeah, a bear. And then I said, what about a woman or a bear? And he was like, well, that's easy, a woman. I mean, it's just crazy, stereotypically, or however our brains are wired or our experiences wire our brains, women feel safe. And personally, for me, when I thought of the question, women or bear, I'd be like, I just imagined a woman being nurturing and being like, oh, honey, come here. Let's go find mommy and daddy. I just envisioned somebody who is so loving and nurturing. And then how I envision a man versus bear is a creepy man dressed in all black that's alone and trying to abduct me. It's that stereotype, and it's in my brain, and it's embarrassing to admit because not all men in a woods fall into that stereotype, and not all women are innocent either, but it is something that's trained in our brains, and it's so interesting. And Adam and I had a long conversation about it because I was like, isn't that wild? That is so crazy. But it is a way that men, especially men who are fathers or care for women or young girls, how they can kind of get a little seed of where women are coming from with that question. Put it out there as if it's your daughter, and then they kind of see where we're coming from. Because men can say they don't understand, but if they have a daughter and they get asked that question, their guard goes up because they're protectors. And they're like, hell no, I don't want them with a man. That's creepy. So I think that's just one way to maybe make a man understand a little bit of where we're coming from. Not that they even get it really. I mean, they don't get it, how Adam and I talked about, we go on runs together, and or the same route, but not together, and I'll get stopped by men and he never gets stopped. And it's just like a different life. Being a woman is different than being a man in society, or being perceived that way anyway. Somebody did text me about the running, because I have been stopped on a run and I have been followed on runs, and it's definitely scary. My heart goes out to every single person that's ever happened to. And somebody told me download the Noonlight app. And so I did. I downloaded the Noonlight app and I've played around with it a little bit. But basically, if you are a woman or I don't know, even if honestly, I thought it'd be good for even like your kids, like your teenage kids, to download on them. Because basically what you do is you make a list of all your people, like safe people that the app will contact if you're in distress. So I added like Adam, my husband, my mom, my dad, and my sister. And then when you are running, if you're feeling unsafe, what you do is you just click a button on the app and it immediately alerts like 911 and those people that you're in distress. And if you click it on accident, all you need to do is type in a PIN that you make, like 1121 134 5, like a 4-digit PIN. And well, now I need to change my pins for everything. So there you go, because I probably just gave it away. So I will be doing that. And that is not the pin to our house, just so you know. Anyway, basically you put in your 4-digit pin, and then it cancels or whatever. But the other cool thing about the app, which is why I said it'd be good for children, like that maybe you just want to check on once in a while, maybe you don't always have your children with you, or they're at the age where they're going to other people's houses or whatever. You can also like ping them. So like if my dad is worried about me, which I mean, I'm a grown ass woman, so like he's probably not going to do that unless he's like really feeling worried that day. But basically they can notify you on the app, and it'll like alert you to just say, like, it will come up and say like, are you okay? They want to know that you're okay, and then you just click a button and it's like, I'm okay. But I thought that was like kind of cool too, because I think sometimes, especially teenagers or young kids, might have situations that they are embarrassed to say that they're not okay in. And I remember when we used to be at like sleepovers or something like that, growing up, and there'd just be nights when like you just have a feeling it's not like, this isn't really good. You don't feel like you're in the right situation or something like that. I just thought that this would be, I was like, this would actually work well with teenagers, because I've seen how some people have like a code word with their parents. Like their parents will call and you'll say like banana, and then they'll make up an excuse for you to come home and be like, oh, my mom said I had to go home. But I was like, oh, well, this app would work too, because they could just ping you, or you could ping them, and it would just be a sign that you want to get out of the situation. And I thought that was really cute. So for the person who suggested this app, I think it is definitely worth the download. Like I said, I'd use it on my kids' phones. But for runners, for women that are out, just, because the sad thing is it happens more frequently than you think, that like women get in comfortable situations. So I was like, thank you for that. That's awesome. I'll use it, because I will say, when I was followed all those years ago, like I think I was 25, when I was followed on my run in Oklahoma, I did not have a phone on me. And the reason why was, back then, I mean, it was 10 years ago, I would use my iPod, like my little disc that had like music on me to go running with, and I never carried a phone with me running. In a way, thank God, phones has become so advanced. They have our music on them now, that now I always have my phone on me. So it's just not the same type of situation it was back then. That's why I had to run into a random stranger's house, and we called on a landline actually to the police. But thankfully, I think most kids or most women do have phones on them now, and that is a level of protection. But I'm not gonna lie, I definitely own like pepper gel, and it like wraps around my wrist. Like now I'm really thoughtful about the fact that even in good, nice suburbs, like there's some creepy people, and that's scary in a reality. And just like, yeah, so the app Noonlight, I hope that helps somebody out there. So next, you know what? I actually want to tell you a story about this week. So this week, before I end this, because this is another reminder for, I'd say women, but honestly anyone. So the last 2 weeks, honestly, the last month, I've had really, really bad back pain. And I had torn a ligament in my tailbone, like my lumbar spine area 2 years ago, before even I had the twins came into our lives. And it healed. I took like 6 weeks off working out. I was on a steroid, a muscle relaxer, and it did end up healing. Like I never felt that pain again. But in the last month, I've had some really bad back pain. And there wasn't a time where I heard a pop or anything, but it's been hurting. In the last 2 weeks, it's been so bad that one day I ended up going to the ER because I was like, I don't know, like this might be an organ. I have no idea, but I think I do have a pretty good pain tolerance. And moms out there, like I'm a mom of 4. Moms don't just go to the ER. Like I don't have time for this. And if anyone knows me, I hate hospitals. I hate anything to do with blood. I hate needles. I do not like doctor's offices. They make me have I just don't like them. They make me feel nervous. They always have. And it's funny because my son is the same. I'm still a Grey's Anatomy watcher, been that way since 8th grade. So I'm committed. I have to go into it. But our Scott, our son, he'll be like, ugh, like he'll be like, I'm gonna throw up. I can't watch this. There's blood. Yuck. Like he gets sick to his stomach just watching it. My oldest daughter, Susie, I'm saying it now, will probably go into the medical field because she is like, oh yeah, that's so interesting. Look at that. Oh, that bone's just coming out, or that, like, is there blood? Or we went and had Scott's head stapled when he got hurt one day. And Scott obviously he was a mess. He was like me. Like we can't stand this kind of stuff. Susie was just like totally chill, just loved watching the doctors and nurses come in. Like I think she wanted to be like helping them. Like she loves it. So it's just funny because I can't even imagine why somebody would be okay with blood and needles and all that stuff because I'm so terrible with it. And she just happens to be good. Anyway, I'll get back to the story. Fact is, I don't like going to the doctors or the ER. I don't like surgeries, anything like that. I end up in the ER because I'm in such bad pain with my back. And I'm getting like pain that radiates up my spine, around my, even around my belly. That's why I was like, it's not even in my back anymore. It's like around my belly too. So I go to the ER and they're all honestly really great. I had gone to the doctor once previously for my back and she had put me on a muscle relaxer and a steroid to try to fix it or whatever. And it never got fixed. It honestly just got worse. So the ER was great. They listened to me. They were they saw an x-ray. I had an x-ray done. They got a CAT scan done. Nothing was alarming on the CAT scan, but they did end up saying, okay, well, we're going to refer you to this orthopedic surgeon's office. And you might not get an orthopedic surgeon that sees you, but it'll be an orthopedic doctor that sees you, and they'll be able to help you. We are so sorry. We're going to send you home with all this pain medication. Just get through the weekend and Monday morning you'll have your answer. Because I was just in so much pain. And they also ended up finding out that I had a UTI. So it was double the pain. It was back pain and cramping too. So I got it all not fixed, but I had some answers going into the weekend. So that weekend, Adam just watched the kids. Basically, he was being a single parent. And I laid in bed and I just tried to rest. And all the medications they gave me, it made me so sleepy. I truly did sleep the days away. Monday, I get up and I'm going to go to the orthopedic doctor. And this is just, I was seriously still in so much pain. And I told my husband beforehand, I said, if I don't get an answer today, I'm going to just cry because I'm in so much pain, and I just want somebody to tell me what it is, and so we can get on track to fix it. I go to the doctor. It's an orthopedic doctor, and granted, he looks a little young, and he's probably not a surgeon, but he's definitely an orthopedic doctor. And he comes in, and literally, he barely asks what's even wrong. He talks about his own injury that he has on his arm, and then he kind of like does like a 5-minute exam, like does some stretches and says, does it hurt here? Does it hurt here? Does it hurt here? And after like 5 minutes, he's like, okay, I'm going to write you a referral for 6 weeks of physical therapy, and I'll see you in 6 weeks. And I started like crying because I was like, I've already dealt with this for a month and it's so bad. Like, moms don't just go to doctor, like the ER for pain. Like, it's that bad. Like, there's nothing that else you can do. Like, I don't want to go to physical therapy for 6 whole weeks. Like, I want the pain like gone. So I like, and honestly, he didn't even give me an answer. I asked him at the time, I said, would an MRI would show anything else? And he like was like, yeah, no, not really. I really think it's probably just joint pain. It was the most vague thing ever. That the appointment was gone. And honestly, the worst part was I was like crying because I was sad. And he's like, Sallie, what do you want? Oh, sorry. I keep hitting the mic. Sallie, what do you want? And I was like, I don't know. And then I like kind of gave in and he left. And then they scheduled me for my next appointment in 6 weeks. And in my head, I kept thinking, I'm not coming back. Like, I'm not coming back to this doctor because he truly didn't even listen to me. Like, I feel like he didn't even listen to a word I even said. I mean, he didn't even ask, really. And I thought about it later when he was like, Sallie, what do you want? And I didn't know how to respond. And then I got mad when I got home because I was like, why would I know? I'm not the doctor. Like, I need you to tell me what I need, type thing. Anyway, I will not be going back to that doctor. I was so discouraged, but it honestly got me thinking because we have a Black daughter. And I don't know if anyone knows this, but Black women in the United States, it is known that they are overlooked in the healthcare industry. Further, when they come with pain, oftentimes doctors, nurses, the medical field, they do not treat them the way that they should. And oftentimes they overlook their pain, resulting in really high mortality rates for Black and brown women when they give birth. I just was thinking, I'm a white girl. Like, literally, my daughter is going to be treated worse than that, probably. They probably would have just turned her away. And it made me so sad and so upset with how this doctor treated me that I honestly, like, he didn't even have any empathy or even have the decency to act like he did, to listen to me about this situation. That it made me so mad. And I never write bad reviews. And I wrote him a bad review. And like when that text came through from the hospital being like, how was your time? I was like 5-star on check-in, 5-star on nurse, like 11111 for the doctor. Because the sad thing is he was relatively young and he was already treating patients like this. It was almost like he already had his mind made up when he came into the appointment that day. Like, oh, I know I'm going to give her 6 weeks of PT. Like somebody told him to do that. Anyway, I just wanted to tell that story because women and mothers, and even men, but especially mothers, always fight for yourself, because I think that I have a super easy time fighting for my children because they are defenseless and they don't know what to ask. But fight for yourself too, because it's not fair to be overlooked. And it's sad to think that some people, like, I kind of became submissive when he was like, Sallie, what do you want? Like, I didn't know what to say. I'm not a medical professional. But some people don't know to question doctors. And I know it seems annoying to doctors to hear that, but you have to know that it is because people go through experiences like this where there is something wrong and somebody literally just doesn't even listen. So I'm just reminding everyone, if you know something's wrong in your body or in your child's body, please fight for them and go get a second opinion. Go get it checked out somewhere else, because you're right. Your intuition is leading you to the right place. And no matter what doctors say, like if you go to 5 doctors and they're all like, okay, for the most part, like maybe they are right, try their way. But if you know that something's wrong, or if something's not getting better, please find a doctor that respects you and listens to you. And please share your stories with the doctors you go to, because like they need to know these things to get better. Like I felt bad because I wrote a bad review. And I'm friends with some medical professionals, and they're like, no, like we need to get those reviews. People need to send those reviews, because otherwise the medical profession is never going to change. And it honestly makes me want to tear up, because I think of how many people just aren't listened to for whatever reason, I don't know, but it's just such a serious job. And thankfully for me, it's not something life or death. Like he didn't like overlook me and I'm going to die tomorrow. I ended up going to get a second opinion. I ended up going to a chiropractor somebody I know said that she was amazing, and she was. And she ordered an MRI right away. They did find on the MRI something, and she is treating me right now for that. And literally, like, I was just so happy that she ordered the MRI, and then I got answers, because I was like, 6 weeks of physical therapy wouldn't have I never would have known what was wrong. Like, what? That's crazy. Like he said it was joint pain, and it was actually discs in my back that are bulging. So right now I have one that is bulged and it is hitting a nerve, and that's what it is. So we're working on realigning my spine. I have an amazing personal trainer he does boot camps. He's going to come on and talk to our podcast, but he is so passionate about like getting your body lined up and like your posture fixed and your stance and everything. He's gone through his own back health problems, but he is so amazing that I'm working with him now and a chiropractor and getting it fixed. But I was so upset with the orthopedic guy, because he's supposedly, I don't know if he was the surgeon, but he's an orthopedic doctor. And I was just really like, man, that sucks, dude. That's your job. Anyway, I'm ranting, but fight for yourself, ladies and men, everybody. If you know something's wrong, stick with your gut. And I think as I get older, like as I get to be, like I'm 35 right now, I'm better at sticking with my gut. Like for all things, like when something doesn't feel right, saying it, or if someone doesn't feel right to hang out with, like protecting myself, or when I go to the doctor and you have questions or you're not satisfied with the answers, like taking control back, because it's a scary place to be when you feel like somebody who doesn't even know you, like you're not really anyone to them, is holding all the power, right? Like you need to fight for yourself. So anyway, I'm sorry, that was a soapbox, but that is just a tale. And again, I tell these stories because I just hope it helps someone. So everyone's probably like turning it off. Sally's just ranting. I'm sorry. You know what, Katie? So I'm going out of town this week. I'm going to Wisconsin to visit family and friends. So excited. So Katie might be doing the next Friday feedback alone. So if you prefer her and her beautiful humor, tune in next Friday, because she might be the one doing it. So anyway, next Monday, what we have is our topic is age appropriate clothing a thing? And thruples. And we did not plan to do those topics together, but somehow age appropriate clothing leaded into the conversation of thruples. So you guys get to hear our opinion about both. And I'm so excited because I think it's a funny episode. I think it's a fun episode, and I'm interested to know everybody's take on all these things. But please tune in on Monday for, is age appropriate clothing a thing? And thruples. And Katie and I get a little spicy in that episode. So just there's your fair warning. Okay, I'm going to let you guys go. Have a wonderful weekend. I love you all. Bye. Hi, everyone. It's Sally. We're going to leave our story there for today and pick up next week on Twin Study After Dark. If you've enjoyed our podcast today, please rate, review, and subscribe. We'll meet again next week for more Twin Studies. Bye.